Hey everybody, it's your girl Punky Brewster. That's my intro because I can't ever come up with anything better. And I am here by myself. No, not really. Takeerah will be here in just a moment. We're struggling with some technical difficulties, but I didn't want to keep us waiting. Um, I've been a bit under the weather. I came back from New York Comic Con and I came back and I thought I was gonna be okay. Thought maybe I had like a just like a little thing going on, but I did not. It turned into a horrible virus of many days. So I apologize if I suddenly mute in the middle of a sentence and start violently coughing, but this is my life now. So hello, Lois. Thank you for joining us. Takira's having an emotional breakdown, I think, during our episode breakdown. To steal the joke from Janessa, 100%. Um, yeah, so tonight we are our this episode of Finding Found is on episode 4 of season 1 called Missing While a Pawn. And this by golly, this might be our first two-parter. Not really
Wait.
sure. Walking Dead Eternal. Well, hello. Friends.
Well.
I know. I've just finished watching the 4 episodes I found, and it's a really interesting show. I think so too. I think so too. What were you saying? What were you gonna say, Takira?
Um, Wait. Did it say to be continued or something?
It did not, but there is
Oh,
no
okay.
way that the storyline is completed.
I know it did kind of feel.
It felt like it was hanging. So I don't know
Yeah.
that we're gonna get a direct follow up, especially with this being a first season, and you know how they swap all the episodes around because this episode list, the name list, has changed. Because I found a list the other day that was like not the same list. So I'm like, okay, not sure what happened there. So I'm not quite sure. It does, I mean, to me, it seems like a linear story. Nothing has happened so far that I'm like, that seems
Right.
off.
Yeah.
Walking Dead Eternal says I feel bad for Lacey. Honestly,
Me
yes, I
too.
do too.
Yeah.
We are gonna talk about that, but I want to preface this episode by just stating that we will not be speaking ill of the young boy who is friends with Matthew.
Oh
We
no.
won't. We're not going to.
No. No.
I saw some stuff on Twitter last night after live tweeting, and there was some blame towards this kid, and I understand he is by no means innocent, but he is still a kid, and there's a lot of trauma there, and so we're not going to speak ill of him. We're going to talk about this objectively and like the adults that we are. So just want to
I
preface with that.
thought that's that's weird. Didn't she literally say he's a victim? He was groomed.
Yes, yeah, but I think it's easy to look at this as like a black and white, like that guy did wrong and so he's bad. And while I even may agree with that sentiment, um he is still a juvenile and so we're just going to stay away from that. Like even going there. I wanted to preface so we don't get any comments about how he's a jerk or anything like I don't want any of that. We're just gonna talk about this like adults. So, um, I want to start. Okay, how do we even do this show? I'm so tired. Um, okay, so Takira, like initial reaction. Did you like it? Did you love it? Did you feel meh?
um Oh my gosh. I am so sick of every episode in the middle of it me being like, Mark Paul, what is happening? We have never seen this caliber of acting from you before.
How dare you, sir? How
How
dare you
dare
be
you
so
be so
good
wonderful?
looking, good looking and so good at your job, and to make me so uncomfortable at the same time? Thank you so much.
The nerve of you. But
I agree. I agree. His acting was spectacular in this episode. So was Shanola's. Not
Yes,
ever gonna downplay
absolutely.
that.
Yeah.
Excellent. Even Gabrielle's
Mhm.
acting was amazing. Um, we've had some really good pieces of acting, but I don't know, he's just knocking it out of the park. I think it's so out of character type for him that that's why we're all so blown away by it.
Yeah.
Um, I enjoyed it too. This might be my favorite episode so far, I think. This really ramped up the tension,
It
I felt like.
really truly did, yeah.
And I liked that the story didn't end at the end of the episode. Thank you for changing. It's so hard with procedurals to like stay invested because
Mhm.
they can be really like it was the same thing over and over again. So this was really nice to get like
Yeah.
something kind of different. I liked it. So I kind of want to start and just kind of I want to talk about the Gabby Sir stuff.
Mhm.
Okay. Then I want to go into kind of like maybe the other, like Lacey, Gabby,
Characters.
the kind of other characters. Then
Mhm.
I want to uncover the story from this
Annie.
episode. Annie, we're going to talk about right away. We're talking about
Okay.
Sir and Gabby and Annie. We're talking about this stuff. I got to get this. I got to get this squared away. I got to get it squared away. Okay. So, okay. What? Um, by the way, Takira and I are live tweeting last night with Janessa, who is normally in the live chat, but she was busy this evening, so she could not make it. We're all live tweeting last night. Did you get your tweets liked by Domain Davis?
Oh, yeah.
I did too. It was thrilling. It
I
was
was like,
thrilling to see. So just so you know,
"Follow
this
me.
show
Follow
has such a small
me."
following right now that your tweets could be liked by Domain Davis if you were live tweeting this episode, which was exciting. NBC Found's Twitter account is also suspended.
It's I'm like, "What is happening?"
I don't know. So way to go, Domain, for stepping up and taking care of
Right.
it.
Mhm.
Because Domain was like the one heavily interacting with NBC Found, the hashtag NBC Found, to ensure that this was like still had some traction yesterday. Because I don't know that it would have had traction otherwise. Because we would have
Yeah, I
been
was like,
tweeting to no
"What
one.
the?"
So it was nice that that Domain was retweeting because then I followed Domain and then all of a sudden it was like then I was seeing all the NBC found tweets. Otherwise
Mhm.
I wasn't getting them. So Walking Dead Eternal says my favorite episode is when the brother found the sister. Brother found the sister.
Oh, when the brother, when he hired her, like, the little boy, remember he walked in, like,
Oh yeah. Sorry,
calling
that
her
was
a
the first
chick and
episode.
stuff. Yeah.
That was the first episode. Yeah. That was good. That was a good one. So okay, so yeah. So yeah, NBC Found's Twitter account was suspended. So nobody knows what's going on there. It's ridiculousness. Uh, however, Domain Davis was very active, so there was that. But while we were tweeting about this last night, it was just like about one how who is Annie and what is this business? The fact that Sir was like very concerned about Gabby in a
Oh
way
my
that we really
gosh.
haven't seen before. And
Mhm.
um and it was just I don't know. There was a lot of like weird tension creating stuff. So, let's talk about the elephant in the room, Annie, obviously. Sorry, Annie, to call you an elephant, but it's kind of a big deal. So, Annie left a note in a copy of Julius Caesar that Gabby found when she was with Sir 51 days before her escape.
Mhm.
So she has not yet met Lacey. She's still by herself. She's been there for over 300 days. I cannot even imagine. Um, but she finds this note and it's from a girl named Annie. And actually I have the script here. So hold on. Like I can pull up the exact words that it said. Um Sorry, all the script is long. My name is okay, day 261. So that's not in reference to Gabby, that's Annie's. Day 261.
Mm-hmm.
Day 261. My name is Annie, and I'm going to live. If you're reading this and Sir took you, which it didn't say that. It said, if you're reading this and Sir got you. That's not
Mm-hmm.
what was read aloud, but it was, and Sir got you is what it said. Two, don't give up. Um, and then Smooth Criminal was playing in the background because, of course, it was. But unfortunately, not the MJ original. It was the Alien Ant Farm one, popularized in the early aughts for all you babies out there. And Alien Ant Farm was a pretty solid band. I won't lie to you. Um, Bro had a crisp part, though, let me tell you. Okay, I don't know if anybody remembers that music video, but I certainly do. And his, he had like the buzz cut, but his part was like it was there. All right, I'm trying to make sure I have the other portion of the script pulled up that I wanted to have pulled up because it has to do with Sir and Gabby's interaction. Okay, so Annie was taken. Couldn't find anything else about her,
Mm-hmm.
but at the beginning of the episode, we do see that Gabby has a box listed Annie, labeled Annie, and it's got a dress in it, which I found
Mm-hmm.
interesting. So she did find other articles of Annie's belongings at some point in her time there. And then Gabby still had the note.
Mm-hmm.
So so this is technically Gabby's first case ever
Yeah.
is Annie, and she has not been able to crack it. Which how could you? And also, how upsetting is that?
First of all, the way he looked at her when he said, "And you'll be just like her, and no one will ever find you."
I
I was
know.
like,
Yeah.
did he just yell at me?
It felt very uncomfortable. It
I
felt
was like, what is happening?
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it felt very uncomfortable. Um I am curious to learn more about this story. I love that we have this extra piece now because this was not a piece that we were given by any of the previews or anything prior to this
Right.
episode. So this was a really good later in season little piece to get. Um because I think it could have gotten really stale really fast, so I'm glad that we got this. Walking Dead Eternal says Sir just upsets me. Yes, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's very
Yes.
fair. Very, very fair. Um, so I think this is gonna be really interesting. I don't want to do the whole like, what do you think's gonna happen? Because we're like inevitably one, we're either gonna be wrong, or two, we're right, and then like what did guessing get us? I don't know. I'm just like not a
Right.
I'm not a fan of theorizing too much. There's just not
I
for
will
what reason.
say that Demain liked one of my theories.
Listen, she's all hoity toity over here now. Demaine Davis likes some of your tweets and suddenly you're
It likes
somebody.
my tweets. I'm importante.
So I did really enjoy this piece with Annie. I think this is a really cool part of the story. I'm excited about it. That's kind of where I want to leave it. I just wanted to touch on it because it is exciting. We do see that she does also have a file on her computer. We see it at the very end entitled Annie. So again, this is a cold case. Now we get that piece of information that this is a cold case and that there are cold cases that she works on because Sir can tell by where she's walking in the house what she's doing, which is like, how does he know the layout of her house?
I was like, why'd you put this fool in the basement so he could hear everything you do?
I, I know. I'm concerned that he knows the layout of the house. That is concerning to me. Does that mean that
And
he
like
like
what her footsteps
did
mean.
she break it? Did he break into her house and then she locked him and like caught him and locked him in the basement? Or did she
Oh.
find him and this is his house? And she locked him in the basement of his own house and was like, yo, I moved. I don't know. Only time will tell. Um, oh, yep, we lost her. Hold on,
The
she's back.
hell?
She's back. Okay. She froze and we lost her. Now she's back. So, um, so I'm not sure what's going on there, but he could tell, based on where she was walking, that she was in the cold cases. So that's concerning.
Mhm.
All right. So Walking Dead Eternal brings up a good point that we were gonna move on to. So
Yeah.
great. Walking Dead Eternal says, but what upsets me more is that Gabby is keeping this big secret from Lacey, and Lacey doesn't even know.
Mhm.
We have been fired up about this
Up.
for a couple
Yeah.
weeks. Um, we refer to Gabby as our unhinged queen because girl is unhinged and
All the way.
oh, fully unhinged, like a snake's jaw, ready to, you know what I mean, like that unhinged. She's not okay, and so this is something that's been kind of a point of contention. I am very unhappy with how she's been treating Lacey. I was
Mhm.
interesting to see Lacey's reaction to Gabby lying to her. She caught it,
Mhm.
one, because of the that's why we get that interaction with her and Zeke earlier in the episode, is so that you can learn that she has learned these tactics about being able to tell when people are lying. Excuse me. And so um we get that to further the story a little. And then we get the phone call between Lacey and Gabby does three of the four things because they're not in
Mhm.
person, so she can't tell eye contact. But if they were in person, she would be avoiding eye contact. But
Yeah.
she says truthfully, I think. She says truthfully. She repeats the question that Lacey asks her. And then what was the other thing? Oh, the tone of her voice shifted
Oh yeah. Yeah.
because it was like kind of louder, higher, and then it got low.
Low. Yeah.
And she was like, truthfully, I don't think we'll ever find him. And it was like down in a lower register. So she got three of the four markers for lying. So, um, and you could tell Lacey was going to ask. She says, Gabby. Gabby's like, Trent's here. I got to go. And she gets off the phone. But I think she was going to say, Gabby, are you lying to
Are
me?
you lying to me? Yeah.
Um, and so that is coming. That is very much coming. If you've watched any of the previews for later in the season, it's coming. Just hold your
Oh yeah.
horses
Yeah.
because we've seen a clip of something that Lacey says, and you're like,
Oh.
did y'all just ruin the show? Did you just ruin the show with your own
Right.
advertising? But they kept this Annie thing on lock, so I'm not gonna question. I'm not gonna question them too much.
I do want to say one more thing about Annie. Guaranteed Lacey doesn't know about Annie.
It would be extremely unlikely, I think. I think
Mhm.
Gabby spent more time protecting Lacey
Yeah.
than she has like connecting with her and potentially opening up, which could be healing for both of them. Instead, she's really
Mhm.
built that wall to say like, "No, I'm going to I'm going to take care of it."
And that's
But
why.
some of that could also be like you were only taken for a day.
Yeah.
I was taken for a year of my life. And
Mhm.
so this is mine. You don't get this. You're not as traumatized as I am, which is like a really horrible way to look at it, but people do that with trauma.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know if y'all have ever met somebody, but I've met someone who likes to play a little game I call My Life is Worse, where you're like, yeah, this happened. It was really hard to get through. And they're like, oh, yeah, well, that happened to me, but also like tenfold. This is why my life was worse during that time. And you're like, oh, okay. It's just trying to like connect as a human, but it's fine.
Mhm.
You win. Saddest life, I guess. There are people like that in the world. So, with Gabby being as unhinged as she is, God only knows. So, the other parts of the storyline that I found interesting this episode, um, I'm gonna get to that in just a second. Walking Dead Eternal, I'll come back to that comment. Were The piece at the beginning where they're informing Zeke of the case, and Zeke is very defensive.
Mm-hmm.
Don says, like, he's been really sheltered and that's a problem. And Zeke is like, he should be sheltered. He's a kid. He should be allowed to be a kid. And in previous episodes, I think we would have seen Don get really like, screw this guy.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, he waited till the conversation was over, looked at Zeke, and said, "Are you okay?" And I just thought that was their relationship really has grown. They really have connected. So I'm really happy to see that growth in Don and in his interactions with Zeke.
She did a good job. Mm-hmm.
I think that's great. She did, even though they hated it. She really did. So that was nice to see. Walking Dead Eternal says, I don't think that Lacey is going to forgive Gabby if she tells her. Here's the thing. I don't think Gabby's going to tell her.
She's gonna find out herself, which is gonna
Lacey's
make it
going to find
even
out.
worse.
It's going to make it 10
Yep.
times worse. Yeah, and I'm with you. I don't know that she's going to be able to forgive her. And frankly, do I fault her?
Nope.
Probably not. Isn't
Yeah.
Don married? Yes. So Don is married, and this is a bit of a point of like of question for us. So inquisitive minds are curious about this. So in the previous episode, or the maybe the episode before that, I don't remember. Anyway, we're introduced to Don's husband. Fine. Don's husband is a therapist. But the way that Don's husband says that he's a therapist makes it seem like Don's husband was Don's therapist, which we don't love.
Yeah.
So, not sure what's going on there. It's a little unusual.
I'm so mad that I didn't do notes because Don said something. And it's the one thing that I really wanted to remember because I was like, oh my God, he made me mad in this episode. But now I don't remember what he said. So I'm frustrated.
Was it about his frustration with the guy who had been to prison? Because I didn't care for that attitude.
Oh, that is exactly what it was.
I did
That's
not care for that
exactly what it
attitude.
was.
Okay,
Yeah.
so there was the guy, Scott. Scott was Scott was a guy who worked at the church. He did maintenance. And the way he was eating, he was blocking his food with his arm, and he was eating. And so Don's like, he was blocking his food. Only people from prison do that. And so he's a horrible guy. And I was like, I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this
Yeah. I
judgment.
was like,
Okay,
Don, what the
maybe
hell is wrong
for
with
this
you?
time. So could you lay off this guy? And he
Right.
wasn't even remotely correct. So congratulations for accusing that black man, mind you, of being a child abductor. I was like, whoa, what is happening here? So just chill out,
Listen,
Don.
if that black man grew up in a house full of children, that's why he's covering his
That's true. I mean, he did have a criminal record. He wasn't an innocent, but he didn't abduct that child. So chill out. Walking Dead Eternal says, I think Don and Zeke like each other. That's just me. Oh, I mean, you can
Wait, do
ship
we
him.
think Zeke is gay?
I don't know, because he kind of had a moment with Lacey, I thought.
I kind of thought so too.
I thought there
Listen,
was
he
a little
could
bit of
be
a moment.
bi or
God only
pan
knows.
or yeah.
To each their own. So, no judgment here. But I think yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I was like, well, I'm not going to push this because I don't really care about any of
Mm,
these relationships right now. Aside of like just trying to get a feel for like where people are at. We're too early in the
mhm.
show, I feel like, for me to be like, I hope they end up together. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm not shipping a damn thing
No,
on
it's too
this
weird of
show.
a show. It's too weird of a show to be shipping people. But anyway, so um okay, so Margaret. We didn't get much of Margaret this episode. We only really got her interaction with Dad. Jeff, I believe is his name. My name's Jeff. Um, I think that was his name, but I'm not 100%. Mom's name was Andrea. I think his name was Jeff. Anyway, she had that interaction with Jeff where he said, "You have no idea what it's like going through what I'm going through right now." And she was like, "Surprise, my son's been missing for 13 years."
Mhm.
And hold on a second.
I'll talk to you guys.
This monster.
Hello.
Oh, she went to her liar register. She was lying to you because her voice got real low. I'm just kidding. Those are, by the way, I want everybody to know those are not accurate indicators of a lie,
At all. No. I say
even
honestly
remotely.
a lot.
I do too. It's part of vernacular now. But also on top of that, typically what it is, and see, I just did it, so it's going to prove this wrong too. But a lot of the time, people will look up, and it's because they're trying to think of what they're going to say next. I do it a lot
Mhm.
because I lose my train of thought. Another indicator is that you touch your face while you're talking. Also, a habitual habit of mine, like that, I touch my face a lot. And so I don't think that's accurate either. So just so you know, I think each person's different.
I'm weird. I touch all kinds of things when I'm talking. I'm like
Yeah, I know. So I don't think these are super solid indicators,
Mm-mm.
but whatever.
Wait, was Zeke lying when he did 3 out of the 4?
He was lying when he was like, I don't want to talk about it. I'm not affected by it. He was like trying to play off that
Okay.
he wasn't affected by it.
Okay.
That's really what it was. Because Lacey was trying to gather whether or not he was feeling like she was trying to connect with him because she
Mhm.
was also taken at a young age. He just wasn't, he didn't want to talk about it. So he was trying
Yeah.
to like hide. Walking Dead Eternal says Margaret is one of my favorite characters because she sees and notices things that other characters don't. Okay, same. And also, if you love her as much as I do, and as much as Takeerah does, you should go watch the show Lie to Me. It's probably on Netflix still,
It's
I would guess.
amazing.
It's an awesome show. It's about micro expressions and how people can kind of, through processing trauma in their life, can notice things on people's faces that other people cannot generally see. So it's really cool. It's a really cool premise for a show, and Margaret, the actress that I keep forgetting her name, but luckily I have this pulled up. So Kelly Williams is in
I
Lie to
should have
Me
known that.
in a very similar role, weirdly. So go check that out if you haven't seen it already.
When she
Apparently,
looked at the
I'm
dad,
just a shill for Lie to Me now.
I was really pissed off when that show went off the air, like many of the shows that went off the air way too early.
I know. Um, okay, so we've talked Dawn, we've talked Sir and Gabby, we've talked Lacey and Gabby, we've talked Lacey and Zeke, and we've talked Margaret. So now let's get down to business with the case.
Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
missing while upon. Okay, we were kind of like, what's this all about?
Mhm.
It's a reference to a pawn in a divorce. He's being pitted against his parents. The one parent's pitting him against the other.
Mhm.
All right, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. I mean, I don't want to blame anybody, but mom, am I wrong? I know you
No.
over here dying of a heart attack and whatnot,
First of all, when
but your
when
character was
they
not
talked
easy to
about
like.
when they talked about the cops, not they didn't say they didn't care cuz I wouldn't say that, but they were like, whatever because all they do is call the cops on each other apparently. Like what?
I was like, what is happening in this family? One, dad. Dad had his beard was lined up smoother than a baby's bottom. The audacity of this man to have just such a smooth line. It was like noticeable. I was like, "What? Someone shaved you like right before you got on this take of this scene." You cannot convince
They
me
were like,
otherwise.
and action.
Action. Man was lined up. Uh um honestly, and it could be that stuff was left on the cutting room floor because that happens and we don't get like the whole picture.
Mhm,
But to me it made it seem like dad was honestly the one who was trying out of the two. And I don't mean like trying to get back together. I mean, because he was doing that too. But I mean like trying to be there for his kid.
mhm.
Um, I don't know. There's a lot to unpack there. There's a lot
I
to
think
unpack there. But mom was highly unlikable. And it was like they didn't give you enough of a reason to like her, and then all of a sudden she was screaming at the dad. It was like, "I can't be around him," and then falls to the floor. And you're like, "What? Like, what? Are you okay? Why are you dying right now? Like, it's stressful. Don't get me wrong, but like, what is happening?" He
I think, women in my neck of the woods of the
No, she did not. No, she did not. Just do this to me. You do not just do this to me on my channel. You ain't even gonna get canceled. It's gonna be me.
I think that we tend to assume the worst when it comes to black men sometimes and children.
Mm,
Um, and I think that's exactly what she was doing.
okay.
Yeah.
The mom did have a heart
Oh,
attack.
yeah, she
She
did have a
really
heart
did.
attack.
I mean, I thought
Which
she was being a bit dramatic, but no,
yeah.
she had a heart attack. The screaming happened right before the heart attack. I okay. That's no, that's valuable input to have. That's valuable input to have. I think that I could see that. I could see that. I could see that. It just I don't know. I think it was just the writing. It just made her hard to like.
Mhm.
Um because like she lied about their house being screen free and then
Yeah.
didn't want to be truthful about the switch. And yeah, part of that was like ignorance. She didn't know, but I don't know. There was just some stuff there that's like, it's hard. It's hard to. Hey, Mitchell. Thanks for saying
Oh, you
hi,
didn't watch the
bud. Yeah,
episode.
that's okay.
Okay.
That's all right. No worries. Just give us a little like. Just give us a little like as you leave, please. Little thumbs up. Um. So yeah, I think that just made her hard to side with. We got to see more of the dad's story, and so I think you're just naturally going to empathize with him a little bit
Mhm.
more. I'm being a little bit facetious when I'm like, it's her fault. It's not. It's not. Um. Okay. So there were many layers to this story. So there's the two friends,
Mhm.
right? There's the two friends, and they've lied. Well, the one has. The one seems real sweet. She's just trying to be a good friend for her
Mhm.
missing sisters, like a sweet kid. The other one, I don't even know if we ever found out his name. Probably. I just didn't commit it to memory. But um that's tough, man. He's been groomed. He's been
Yeah.
groomed. Okay, are you getting a vibe that it's got something to do with dad? Something was
Oh.
off with dad. Something was off
Yeah,
with dad.
his reaction at the end, I was like,
Something was off. Okay, so here's my concern. And I feel like they would have zoomed in on this with Margaret being in the room, so I don't know if I'm just like reading into this too much, but when he's telling the story, dad is like, "Go ahead, tell them." And then he immediately puts his hand on the kid's shoulder, but he's got his thumb in the front and like his hand on the back, like close to his neck. That's kind of a controlling hold.
Mm.
So that was concerning to me. I didn't like that body language. And maybe the actor just felt like that was natural in that moment, but it did not seem protective. It seemed controlling.
Mhm.
And then on top of that, we got the whole like Margaret could tell that he knew something was up.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, it happened 6 months ago." But it was like, "But is are do you have something to do with this? You're trying to pass the buck off on your son?"
Mm. I did. I didn't like
Something about
that
the vibe
dad.
was
It
off.
was, yeah, I didn't
Vibe
like
was just
him.
off. So,
And I was just like, I don't even like how quick he changed his story to agree with Margaret when she like called him out on his crap
something
basically.
just wasn't right.
Yeah.
Something's off. So, I'm really curious to learn like who got him into this trafficking
Mhm.
circle, like who is his groomer, what's going on here?
Wait, Don said he wasn't done, right? Wasn't done finding the people?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. That's
Yeah.
why I think we're gonna get more to this story. That's why I said I don't think
Mhm.
it's. I think it's a two-parter. I don't know that they're gonna directly follow up with it, but I think we'll get a second piece because we're gonna have to find out what happens with the kid eventually. Does he
Mhm.
come out of the coma or not?
Right.
Does he live? And then two, they're obviously gonna be chasing this person who's trafficking children in the area.
And who put a kid in a coma.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
there's some real heavy stuff here. Um. Okay. I forgot. I pulled up the script just to go over this stuff, and I forgot about it. There's a second interaction with Sir and Gabby that I need to discuss. She goes back to Sir when they've got 4 hours before this trafficking meetup,
Mhm.
and she comes down and she's like, we've got 4 hours. He's being trafficked. We've got less than 4 hours. He got into this car, and then Sir's like, yeah, he's looking back at someone, and she's like, yeah, I know about that. I know about that. And he says, this person has been in front of you the entire time, but your faith in humanity has made you too blind to see them. She's like, this is not a teaching moment because he is just like a public figure. He's got to be so wordy with everything. We're running out of time, she says. The person who lured Matthew away is a child, not an adult. And then Matthew's world turned upside down when his parents divorced. He felt betrayed, hence the rebellion in school, yet he appeared to remain committed to the church. He was conflicted, and conflicted children are vulnerable, especially when they're angry with the adults in their life. Sound familiar?
Mhm.
So this is hinting that Gabby was having some other situation go on in her life when she was found by Sir.
Yeah.
She wasn't like maybe she wasn't just taken by him. Maybe she went with him.
Mhm.
Um and then she's like, "Don't do this. I don't have time for your games or to reminisce about the past. Help me find Matthew." He doesn't trust adults anymore, which leaves the only other option, a child. Now, this young person is intelligent, a fellow child of divorce too, who also feels betrayed. The disciplinary reports indicate that Matthew used a particular word to describe his teachers, phonies. He then began to use the word liberally to describe all of the adults in his life. He said, and I quote, he hated all the phonies of this world, especially adults and authority figures. Those words don't belong to Matthew. This is the line that's from Catcher in the Rye.
Mhm.
This is when Sir's like, that's our favorite book. Because for whatever reason, Catcher in the Rye is always like serial killers, like favorite books. You've seen that before, right?
I mean, I've definitely
That's
seen
been a
it in
thing.
multiple, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a thing. It's like it's a common occurrence for whatever reason. Um, and then Sir's like, now this book is usually introduced in the 10th or 11th grade. I'm sure that Matthew is brilliant, but he's far too young to have been introduced to this in school. Does Matthew have any older friends? And that's when they move on. But um yeah, so we just get like this little peek. This little peek into Gabby's past. So there is more to that than we are aware of at this moment. Um, so I am interested to see where this goes.
I want to know, because now my brain just went off on a complete tangent, and now my brain is saying that she left willingly, and that
I
she
mean,
might have
potentially.
even been there for a certain amount of time before asking, "Okay, you know what? I changed my mind. I want to go home." You know what I mean?
I mean, maybe. I think the being locked in probably like
Mhm.
maybe we try to leave and be like, what the hell? But um I think there's a potential that he could have found her at a park. She could have gotten into an argument with her parents. It could have been the middle of the night and he could have been like, "Do you need a ride?" And her saying yes makes him feel like she wanted it to happen.
Mhm.
It's not the actual truth of the matter, but you can distort that to
I
think
wanted to
she wanted to
say,
go with you.
yeah.
Yeah,
You said parents, but she always says, "Can I call my dad? I miss
she
my dad."
does. She does. But you know how it is when your parents are like separated or
Yeah.
divorced. You're always going to default to one parent,
Mhm.
unfortunately. Um, I don't know. That's maybe that's not always the case. It was my case, but my parents' divorce was not healthy. I mean, divorce in general is really hard on kids. Just like I'm going to speak really earnestly here. I was a kid of divorce. It happened. My parents got separated when I was 7. Their divorce wasn't finalized until I was like 11, I think, because live in the state of North Carolina, and in North Carolina, you have to wait a minimum of 1 year separated with proof of separation before you can actually finalize your divorce. It's not easy. It doesn't matter how united you are. It's a huge lack of consistency in a kid's life. And inconsistency leads to trauma.
Mhm.
And I'm so sorry for anyone who like deals with divorce and has kids and has to hear that. I'm so sorry that you have to hear that.
Me.
But unfortunately you know it's true. I
Yeah.
mean, having lived it, you know it's true. You can be as careful as you want, but your kids are you run the risk of your kids not feeling heard, of them feeling hurt, of them creating unhealthy relationships with others. There's a lot there. Um it's unfortunate, but it's just a part of it. But I mean, trauma comes from everywhere and pain is relative. So like, you know, if you've never dealt with anything and you stub your toe, that could be the worst pain of all time
Mhm.
to you because you don't have anything to compare it to. So just do the best that you can. Get your kids therapy like as early as possible. As someone who has to regularly attend it now, please, I beg of you. I beg of you. The free counseling sessions I got as a young child probably really honestly were a big influence in me not being more off the rails than I was. So, yay, public school system. Uh, you gave me one good thing. Um, Walking Dead Eternal says, I have a feeling that, oh, who do you think took Matthew? I have a feeling that it's the one kid who got shot and has something.
Oh, he is the kid that took
Yeah,
Matthew.
no, he did take Matthew. He did take Matthew, but he's not like, so he's just a kid though. So he didn't like plan this crime.
Right.
This was planned by an adult. We just don't know who it is yet. But it's the person who shot the kid
Mhm.
has something to do with it because they were there to collect Matthew, and that didn't go as planned, thankfully. Um. Anyway, I feel like it got really took a dark turn here with my whole after school special chat about divorce. Good God. Sorry, I had therapy today. So I'm feeling, you know, raw emotionally. Anyway, um, is there anything else that you really wanted to bring up? Because that was kind of it for me.
Yes. Because we talked about it on Twitter, but not
All
here.
right, tell me, tell me.
This fool is capable of love, I think.
Oh, 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 oh. What was that?
Ye I
Okay. Yeah. Okay. We got to talk about the scene in question. So, Gabby is very upset after the boy is shot and he's in a coma, and she gets yelled at by the dad because she promised him that he would bring that she would bring him home, and she didn't. And so she goes home and she starts breaking stuff and screaming. And Sir can hear her in the basement, and he is down there yelling, just yelling away for her. Gabrielle! Because, he won't call her Gabby. Anyway,
So I what I loved was the very natural reaction from him, because it was just he wasn't really doing much because she took all of his entertainment, but maybe he was just in deep thought, and you could tell he was just ripped right out of whatever he was in the middle of, and
yeah.
his attention went straight upstairs, and then he tried to run with the
Hmm.
damn chain on his
I know.
leg. He tried to run. So I loved like those little things that
Yeah, it was weird. It's
mhm,
it's love, and I use that term very loosely because it's his distorted
right.
viewpoint of love. Um, but yeah, it's interesting to see. I don't know. It's hard because this character is damn charming,
Mhm.
but he's also a serial kidnapper
Freaking psychopath.
and potentially a murderer.
Mhm.
We don't know. I kind of I say I don't like to theorize, but I kind of think Annie's alive.
I do too.
Okay. All right. I want to make sure I wasn't alone in that. I got a sneaking suspicion he's a big fat liar.
Mhm. I feel like he just got mad because she wouldn't conform and like dropped her off somewhere. Like,
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe maybe he is a murderer. Maybe we're trying to humanize him too much because
right?
it's Mark Paul and we love him.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Um, I every episode just less and less like this idea of this man being in her basement, because besides all the other things that can go wrong, he is still privy to every single thing going on in your life. Everything. He can
He
hear it
still
right through
has
the floor.
control.
Yep.
He still has control. Look at the way she comes to him and like pleads that he needs to help her.
Mhm.
She thinks she's in charge and she's not.
At all.
She's not. She is not. He is still in control. I think that's why Walking Dead Eternal says, "Do you think he could easily break the chain but chooses not to?" I think that's why he allows himself to be held captive. He's not
Mhm.
stupid. I think he could have gotten out. And just hold on, Walking Dead Eternal, because
I
something
one
goes down. We've seen something in the previews,
yeah.
so
I 1000% thought he was getting out of that chain, cuz I just looked at how thin it was and I was like,
it's a handcuff.
yeah, I was like,
Yeah,
so
so
he's
it's a
going to break that.
handcuff. It's a handcuff that is around his ankle that is attached to a chain. I just saw that for the first time in this episode.
Mhm.
It's an interesting choice. And to have him only one ankle chained? I don't know.
Yeah.
This is risky
I
business what
for
you're doing here.
sure thought he was going to break it and run upstairs. I was like, "Oh, this is the moment." I'm like, "I know it's early, but this is the moment, because how could he not break that thing?"
Yeah.
But you see, he only tried it once. Like, he kind of forgot it was there for a minute.
Mm, yeah. So I did want to say, okay, so we are getting 13 episodes. That's the first season. I am curious because we're gonna have he wants to be there, says Lois. He sure
Mhm.
does. He sure does. So excuse me. The fifth episode will air next week, and then the sixth episode will air on the 7th. I am wondering if we're going to get a break then until after the holidays.
Probably. Yeah, we
Just wanted
probably
to give you guys a heads up. I
mhm.
think we're going to be quickly ending our time together here, and that we will have to reconvene probably in January or February, which is very sad.
Mhm.
But you know, that chain gave me Saw 1 vibes. That's fair. That's fair, like, in the basement, that's totally fair. It's very fair. Okay, so next week's episode is entitled "Missing While Undocumented." Oh, and I didn't say anything about this. I'm sorry. This episode, "Missing While Upon," was written by Zoe Marshall and directed by Aif Rivera? EIF. Aif? Eve? E EF.
I-
AF. AF. I don't know. I'm so sorry if I'm butchering it. Um, but anyway, great job. Great job, folks. This was an excellent episode and my favorite so far
Excellent.
this season. So I'm excited. I hope the tension continues to ramp up. I think we're just gonna call it quits here. We don't need to do 2-hour episodes because I'm
No, we
tired.
don't.
I'm tired and there's just not that much to talk about, I don't think.
And I still have like one page of my stupid report to do.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Oh, and
we
I
are.
do I do want to
Oh,
say
okay.
congratulations to Takira. She gave a speech publicly today. She was very nervous about it, and she did it, and I'm proud of her. And she was told she didn't even look nervous. So,
Yeah, I was like, what?
congratulations, my friend.
Thank you. I
Yes.
was like, wait a minute. Why are you coming up here to ask for money directly after I speak? These people don't want to give me money.
Oh. Oh, they were like, "Yeah, work for us, lady. Be be our cash cow."
They're like, you see, you hear that wonderful story? Now give us money so more people can come with more stories.
No, it was great. Takira's not nervous on here. She's not nervous on here at all.
I don't know
Are
why. It's
you?
because, like, I'm talking to you. Like,
Okay.
for the longest time, I was like, I am not going on screen with Squawking Dead. I kept saying, I'm not going on screen. And then one day I just did it. I think it was like an episode that I really felt like I needed to get something out. And I was like, no, no, we need to do this.
Yeah. You're just talking at the internet, and the people who like you will listen, and the people who don't will just leave mean comments about you. It's fine.
I was just telling them to go fuck themselves.
Oh, excuse me.
Sorry.
Language. Language, ma'am.
I'm
I'm
so.
a PG channel.
I was trying to find the dates for the rest of the Found episodes, and it keeps giving me the stupid previous Found series from
Yeah.
2016.
So all I have is missing while undocumented and then missing while addicted.
Addicted. Mm-hmm.
There are other ones that I've seen, like missing while indigenous. I saw was one of them.
Mm.
There's some other ones. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure. They, who knows what's going to happen, and it may come back after the holidays. So I guess they're just willing to release those first 6. Walking Dead Eternal says, I wanted to ask when you were all available for that live that I'm gonna do soon.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, you were asking about that. Well, it can't be Wednesdays because we do this, and I don't know. You know what? You're gonna have to talk to Dave. Dave's really your main person to talk to. I am available. I think probably more than anybody else because I don't have a life. So there's that.
um, I have ran out of my anxiety medication, so I haven't been sleeping. So I'll probably be available anytime.
Oh gosh. Someone get this girl on meds. All right. Okay, so we're gonna head out. Thank you, Lois, for being here. Thank you, Walking Dead Eternal, for being here. Thank you for watching the show so that you could come do this. This is fun.
Yes,
Thank
thank you
you.
guys.
So we live tweet on Tuesday nights, even though it is just like way past my bedtime. I was up at 1 a.m. last night, going like, why can't I sleep? And it was because I had been up live tweeting at 11 p.m., which is just like way too late for someone old like me. Um, but yeah, we live tweet on Tuesday nights while the episode is airing at its ungodly hour. And then we do Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for these live breakdowns. And you can come and join in the chat and just, I mean, don't say like whatever you want. Please be respectful, but share your thoughts. your hopes, your dreams, your vibes, whatever you want. Good night, everybody. We love you. Thank you also, Mitchell, for stopping
Good
by. And you know what,
night.
Janessa? I know you're watching this after the fact, so love you, girl. Thanks for watching. Make sure you guys hit like and subscribe because I don't say that, and so then I don't get any subscribers. So I have to start saying it now on all my videos. So make sure you are subscribed and that you like this video because I don't know, we're okay. Check out Lioness.
Oh,
Is it a movie?
I feel like I've heard of that.
Is this a movie, Lois?
Hmm.
I feel like I've heard of this too.
Mhm. Hold on. Let
Okay.
me Google it.
Anyway, thank you guys for being here. We love you. We're excited to see what happens next week. And we've got at least 2 more weeks of this fun.
Wait.
And then, then it's the holiday season.
She
So
talking about Zoe Saldana. I had to say something because that's my girl right there.
it's not a movie, it's a show.
It's a show.
It's a show. Okay. All right. Well, go check that out, I guess. I haven't watched it yet, so I'm not vouching for it, but it's probably good. Zoe Saldana is a great actress.
Oh, and Nicole Kidman and Morgan Freeman. What is
I
happening?
don't know. What is this on Apple TV?
That's what I'm wondering. What channel does
Anyway.
this come on?
All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week. Keep an eye out. And you know what? Make sure you always walk to your car with your keys in between your knuckles late at night. And don't just be scrolling on your phone. Be attentive.
And as soon as you get in your car, lock the doors.
Yes. And check your back seat before you get in your car.
Hmm.
These are all really good tips from people who have watched far too much true crime.
Way too much true crime.
Okay, love you guys. Good night.
Good night,
Bye.
guys. Love you.